Hi, I'm Allen Henderson, a broker at Henderson Real Estate. Welcome to the Ahwatukee History Project. Today, Marty's going to interview Joe Garner. Joe's the grandson of Arthur and Mollie Hunter. In 1909, Arthur Hunter homesteaded the land in the open desert at what would become 48th Street and Thistle Landing. It was the start of what became Hunter Ranch. The ranch grew and became an integral part of the Kyrene Farming Community. Joe grew up on the Hunter Ranch. Hunter Ranch was located on a dirt road known as Hunter Drive, which is now known as 48th Street. Joe loved the ranch and refers to it as his wonderland and his playground. Let's listen in as Joe tells us about the arrival of the Phoenix garbage cans, how Hunter Drive became 48th Street, and Al Capone's car.
Joe, I'd like to ask you about the future 48th Street, Hunter Drive, which became 48th Street. When did that happen? I don't need an exact date, but can you describe the transformation?
I think it was in the early 80s, because when they designated as 48th Street, the city of Phoenix had taken over that area. Okay. And they came down to my house. This big, large truck came down to my house and threw off garbage cans. The garbage cans like we have now. Yeah. And they said, you have to put your trash in these cans and drag them up to 48th Street for the pickup.
You're kidding.
And I said, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you think you're doing, but get that, cars, those cans
drag it up there
here
right now yourself.
Yeah. And then they came back the next day with an officer, and because the guy said he felt threatened, and I said I didn't threaten him. I just said I'd take your stuff and go, because I didn't know what they were doing.
Refused delivery.
And they said, well, you're in the city of Phoenix now, and you can't. You have to do your garbage like this, Okay. So it was in the mid '80s, early '80s when they did that, and they designated 48th Street, and we were like, we had to change address.
Yeah.
Like we're not on Route 2, Box 405 anymore. We're at something 14,985. Yeah. South 48th Street. So
a sign of things to come, but
yes.
So that raises the question, Joe. What did you do with your garbage before there was trash pickup?
Well, before there was trash pickup, we burned our garbage. It was always taken care of. There was no residue left. It was ashes, and the ashes were spread.
And this would be right in the middle of what is now a very nice development in Ahwatukee.
Very nice development, yes. And I can say that I think our method of disposing of garbage is much better than the present way.
Sounds pretty efficient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of disposing of things, didn't Arthur own an early model vehicle that got disposed of in a unique manner?
Yes, he did. My grandmother had a need for speed, and she loved to drive. She was not a good driver, but she loved to drive because it was like a novelty.
And there was no traffic, right?
And there was no traffic. And then she would take the car and drive out the lane, and it had a bumper on it. And the bumper, she would always go too close to the start of the lane and hook the fence with her bumper and drag the fence down. And then going out the lane, you had to have the fence on the lane because that's where the cattle moved from the one side of the road to the other side of the road. And they had to go down the lane and cross the road into the other field. So we had to have a fence there because the cow would stop and eat Grandma's roses, and she was not happy about that. But she would hook this fence and drag this fence down, and she would go down to the end of Hunter Drive at Warner Road, turn around, and come driving back. That was her big driving.
That was her driving.
That was her driving experience. But at the canal was a wooden bridge, and the wooden bridge was elevated just a little bit for the canal. Well, she would hit that wooden bridge and kind of airborne because she was going so fast, and it was difficult to stop to come into the lane.
Right.
And it scared Papa so much that he decided one night that that was enough of that. And he sent his wife to visit her father in California. And he disposed of the car. He cut it up in pieces, and took it to the North Desert and buried it in different spots all over the North Desert. So she'd come back and did not have a car to drive.
Wouldn't it have been easier to just sell it?
Well, that was not his way.
Right.
That was a danger to his wife, and he was going to eliminate the danger. And I said, "Well, Papa, how did you do that?" He said, "I have a hacksaw, son." And so I think the car met his fate that, over that weekend, because it was gone.
Now, was this the same car that Arthur owned that was reportedly once owned by John Dillinger, I think? Or
No, it was reportedly, he always said he bought it from Al Capone, because Al Capone would winter at Tovery's feed yard in the castle over there off of the 202 or the 101. Sure. I mean, is now
right by near the airport.
Near the airport there, where the castle is. And he would he would rent that to stay out here in the wintertime from Chicago. And evidently he was somehow associated with somebody from that organization that he bought this car.
Okay. Now, is that the car that got cut up and buried in the desert?
Yes.
So is it there to this day?
As far no, I have never heard of anybody finding it when they excavated the land for the homes, but it could have been. It could have been. There was a lot of mischief activity on the North Desert, a lot.
If you enjoyed the video and want to see future episodes of the Ahwatukee History Project, be sure to give us a like and click the subscribe button. Questions and comments are always welcome.